Contact your module leader when you are experiencing challenges related to the academic matters, and contact the support department for any challenge that pertains to administrative matters. But we wish you all the best from DTSFU and ADOVH. May all of you pass. Thank you.
Those were some warm words by our Acting Executive Director for DTSFL, Professor Makano. And I like the word that she used, resilience. And that's one of the things that we are pushing as part of this examination process is keep focused, keep strong, and let's get this done. With me, I'm just going to run through some of the colleagues that are joining us. We've got Lazarus Aaron, who will talk about proctoring tools. We've got Dr. Salosh Govender, David Alperstad. We've got Ingrid Murray, we've got Oba King, we've got Jessica Nell, Pintis Nguna, and Jury Vessels as well. All the colleagues that have sacrificed their Saturday just to be with us. So we really appreciate you, colleagues, for taking this time off. I know some of you have family commitments and other commitments, so we really appreciate you taking the time off and providing these critical insights and information, and more specifically, guidance to our students for the upcoming examination. Now, we are also streaming live on 2 platforms. So some of you are joining us on the Microsoft Teams. Some of you are joining us on the YouTube channel as well. So the idea here is to diversify our streaming approaches so we can optimize our access to more students. Now, whichever platform you are using, you'll find either a comments tool on YouTube and a Q&A tool on Teams. What we suggest that you do is look at those tools and start posting your comments, start posting your questions. We have a group of colleagues that I've just introduced you to who are in the different spaces and will provide you critical support. So engage with the colleagues on those comments, on the chat, questions, answers, forums, etc. Whatever your questions are, please raise it up. Even if you think it's a silly question, you rather ask the question, get the help you need before you get into the examination. So please use this opportunity to engage us. We've been doing this for the past 2 years now, so we really know where the challenges are. So use this as an opportunity to engage us fully so that you can benefit from some of the knowledge that we have on the online spaces. Now, with that said and done, some of the elements that we'll cover today is how to access the myExams support site, accessing your exams from the myExams portal, the different type of exams, academic integrity, proctoring tools. We'll also cover a little bit about the required devices so that you can prepare yourself in advance. We'll also talk a little bit about the mock exams where that you can practice on before you get into the examination. We'll also have somebody from the student support, I'm hoping, that will join us shortly. And then we also will touch on, if you are a student with special needs, what type of support does UNISA provide for you, so that we do provide an inclusive journey as part of this exam process. Now, with that said, let's move directly onto the program. It's my pleasure now to invite my colleague David Alpersad, and he's going to touch on 3 critical aspects for us: how to access the myExams support site, accessing your exams, the myExams portal, and also the different type of exams he's going to introduce you to. Thank you very much, David, for this particular session, and let me hand over to you. Thanks, David.
All right, thanks, Dr. Chetty, and good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us. I'm just going to quickly share my desktop, and then we're going to crack on. All right, so we're going to then look at the welcoming, onto the myExams platform, of course. We've just done the welcoming, so let me quickly get along to that. Okay, so what we're going to do is, guys, I do have a couple of slides that I'm going to run through, and then I'm going to show you practically also what's happening. So the first thing is, please complete the pre-assessment. We have put the link in the chat, the Q&A chat. So please do complete it for us, because your input is very important, and it will also help us develop our training and our courses so that you guys would be having a better experience, and also letting us know what areas we could cover. So yes, please do complete this as well for us. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do, guys, and this is sort of the tip of the iceberg, because once you've got this part, the rest of the training, the rest of the resources, it's really going to go easier for you. So if you've got a smartphone, you can quickly scan the QR code, or we do suggest copying down the address at the bottom. We will post it on the QA site as well. and that's going to take us to our My Exams guide location. So in my case, I'm just going to quickly open my browser, and I'm going to go directly to the site. So I'm not going to copy and paste. All right, so once you reach here, it'll look something like this. This is our Isisile Solwazi, which is Zulu, which means the hub of knowledge. So this site was dedicated and developed for My Exams and My UNISA, and plus lots of other useful courses that you can do, that you can engage in. So once you reach this page, you're going to need to log in. There is a login page help here. So if you click on it, it'll actually explain to you the steps that you need to follow. So it's very, very straightforward. And yes, you're going to use your Microsoft account. So I'm going to show you how to do that in a minute. But yeah, we do have it for you. So once you selected a course, there is a blue Enroll Me button that you need to click on, and then you will be able to access the course. So guys, don't worry if it does seem like today we're going to go a little bit fast. We're not going to. We're going to take our time, but in case you maybe joined late, just take note, everything is already here. So it's just a matter of engaging with it. So once you get to the website, you're going to then need to log in. So you'll see on the right-hand corner, there's a login button. You click on it, and then it's going to ask you, okay, are you a UNISA staff or student? And you're going to say, yes, you are. And then it's going to say to you, okay, please log in with your Office 365, your Microsoft 365 account. So you simply just click on it. So hopefully you guys are accessing it. In my case, I'm just going to select my username. In your case, you will have to type in your student number at mylife.unisa.ac.za. But just take note, as I did indicate, the steps are here. So it explains to you in step-by-step format how to log in. So just in case you might have missed it, there we go. Then you self-enroll yourself, guys. So once you've done that, you'll see there are the courses as you scroll down. There you can see the basic skills. That's the one we're doing today. If you had joined us previously for training the semester, you might have done this one, the basic skills for my modules. So if you haven't done this, or you still have some queries about my UNISA, you can come and access the course here, no problem. And of course, we also have this beautiful one over here, basic skills in digital literacy. So if you want to improve your skills or just maybe refresh, go through this course. Or if you know someone who's struggling, try and help them, get them to the site. It's not a problem. It's a UNISA site. And let them do this course as well. It'll definitely help them. But as I said, today we are going to tackle the basic skills for online exams. Now, in my case, because I've already been on the site, it doesn't want me to self-enroll. It takes me straight. But in your case, just remember, there's a self-enroll button. You click on it, and then it will bring you here. Now, this is, as I said, guys, this is like the most important thing we're giving you here, because everything from here you will be able to do in today's training, all the resources. So as you can see, it's down to 7 lessons plus the web recordings. Okay, I know you guys always ask this. This is where you'll find the web recordings, the guides that you can download, the FAQs, your frequently asked questions, support and help, which proctoring tool do you need to use, and also we also have some podcasts for you guys to listen to help you with your preparation work and the exams. Okay, so this is how it's structured. So what we're going to do is, this is the welcome page. There's the video of Prof. Magano. You might have just seen it a few seconds ago. So if you missed it, there again, you can watch it again just to hear from our Prof over there. Okay, so there we go. So that's your welcoming page. And then, of course, the orientation. There we go. So just to outline basically how the course works, you guys can just go and read through this. Although today we are going to be pretty much dealing with this. It does take about 2 hours to complete, so it's a little bit of time. But of course, this is preparing you for your exam. So once you've got this in place, it's definitely going to make life easier for you. And of course, there is our pre-course assessment survey, the one that we showed you previously. So please do complete it. Your input is very, very important to us. All right, so let's go on to lesson number 1. Now, one thing I would like to say is, guys, I know when you get to this course and you start scrolling down with your eyes, you're going to start seeing all these things, which is very interesting, and you're going to want to skip things. Please don't skip anything. Work from lesson 1 all the way through to lesson 7. It's very important because here we're building a foundation, right? And as we go through, we're going to build onto that foundation. So if you skip things, things might not make sense to you, or you're going to have some questions that you would have actually answered if you just gone through it. Okay, so for lesson 1, what we're going to talk about is basically how's this whole thing going to work. So the very first point we're showing you is on myUnisa, there's a link for myExams. So it's not going to be anywhere else, but you will find there's a link on myUnisa where you'll find myExams. Once you click on myExam, it's going to open its own portal. And inside there, we are going to see some interesting things in terms of how does it work. There are going to be dates, and when you click on the dates, and you're going to find the modules or the exams that are taking place on that date. So let me just show you quickly. So I'm going to go to UNISA's webpage, go straight to myUnisa. I'm going only to myUnisa because that's where the link for myExams is sitting. Okay. Scroll down and there it is over there. Okay, so then I go and click on it and you'll see it opens its own little portal there. Okay, I just want to close this one. So there's myUnisa, there's the link, click on it, it takes you over here. All right, so then you'll see the first thing you're going to see is the dates. So it's today plus 4 days in the future, and then what exams are being currently written. So there are exams happening today, for example. There we go, you can see all the exams here. Sure, quite a number of exams on a Saturday, but that's the way it is, guys. It's online exams. And then, of course, you can also click on the date to see what's coming up. If you're writing on the 17th, then you can see maybe your module would be listed here already. Okay, so that's how you can actually see this. So now, if, for example, I'm doing a module, I would then click on it, and then it's going to bring me to the login. Now here, you're simply just going to type your student number, just your student number, and your myUnisa password. That's it. And then you're going to log in. In the event, and hopefully it won't happen, if there is a problem and the login says your password is incorrect or whatnot, then go back to myUnisa and quickly log in here. Because if you can log in here, that means your username and your password is correct. If it's giving you an error and saying, no, it's wrong, it might just mean the system might be down for whatever reason. But hopefully it doesn't happen. It doesn't happen very frequently. So please don't go and use the forget password link and re-request a password. Okay, because it's not you that's the problem. It's the password that's going to be the problem in this case. But hopefully it doesn't happen. So just take note of that. So today, please check your myUnisa logins. Make sure they work. Make sure you can log in My Life so that you can access the course that we're working through now. So that's very, very important. Okay, so now you can see that's the process. Now, of course, I'm not writing exams, so I won't be able to log in. But once you've logged in, I'm just going to jump a little bit. So this is basically the steps we've followed. It's going to bring you into the myExams portal. Now, it looks pretty much the same. The difference is it's going to say myExams. All right, and it's all you're going to see up in the middle. And if you click on myExams, you should see your module popping up there. So you'll click on it, and then it'll open a welcoming page to say, thank you, welcome. And then at the bottom of the screen, you should see your exam popping up. So that's the first place you're going to see it. So do take note of the icon that you can see there, because that's actually going to tell you what type of exam you're writing. But by this stage, you really would know that. It's not going to be a surprise to you. All right, so just stick with us as we go through today's course. We're going to show you how this all comes together. All right, remember, foundation. Let's get it right. So that's how the myExam portal is going to work. Now, speaking about the exams, there are basically 3 different types that you might come across. All right, you've got your MCQ exams, which is multiple choice, not multiple guess, because you've studied, multiple choice questions. All right, so it's like a quiz. So if you had an assignment that was multiple choice, it's pretty much going to work the same way. And the only difference is we've got a proctoring tool that you're going to need to use, but we'll explain it as we come along. So great. So multiple choice, that's the one, and that's the type of icon you would recognize it. The next one is your take-home exam, which is pretty much your written exam. Again, you might have had an assignment, a written assignment, where you typed up in Microsoft Word, you saved it as a PDF, and then you uploaded your answer, right? Again, exactly the same steps, just got to add the proctoring tools. So we're going to look at take-home exams as well. And we've got a mock exam for you guys to go and prepare these and practice them, okay? Especially if you haven't done them before, and just to get used to doing this with the proctoring tool. Then the third type, which is not an exam in terms of what we're going to be covering, but it is your portfolio. So generally there, what you would need to do is in the module itself, it will tell you these are the things we require from you. You need to type up this and take pictures or whatever it may be. And they give it to you in the module itself. So you just have to go see your module site. I'm sure by now your lecturer would have posted announcements and whatnot. So it's something different that you will deal with. So please go check that module if that's the case. And then, of course, go and practice those things. Okay, so that's basically the 3 different types of assessments. Now, we are going to show you guys a little bit more detail, build on this foundation, and then we're also going to show you a little bit later the practical applications of these tools and assessment types. All right, so that's basically it from me in terms of the first part of the conversation coming up, and I'm going to hand back to Dr. Chetty, and then I'll be seeing you soon. Back to you, Dr. Chetty.
Thanks so much for that, David. And I think by now I'm looking at actually monitoring on both platforms. So we see a lot of first-year students also joining us. So welcome to all the first-year students that are joining UNISA for the very first time and are trying to figure out what exactly is this online examination all about. So now you've seen what David has presented, specifically how to access the myExams support site. And this is the one that we will basically be working through this morning so that you also have an orientation to how the site works. And then the important links to access the myExam and the 2 different types of assessments that you should prepare yourself for the upcoming examination. Now, you would have probably heard about the notion of proctoring tools being employed at UNISA. And I know in social media there are many questions around what exactly is the proctoring tools? Why does UNISA need these proctoring tools? And is it just to complicate your life, or is there a reason for it? And we want to answer some of those questions. But before I get to actually unpacking and inviting my speaker for this morning, I'm going to ask our colleagues to play a video by the chair of the exam committee, Ms. Pindiwe Kamalani, and she unpacks academic integrity, specifically looking at where the institution is and what are some of the challenges from the previous years that we've observed as well. Thank you very much.
Hello, everyone. My name is Pindiwe Kamalani, and I'm the chairperson of UNISA's Online Examination Committee. We are approaching the examination season, which is a difficult period as you prepare for your final examination. To prepare you for your online examinations, we have prepared a step-by-step guide to guide you through your examination sitting. We have also prepared for you a mock examination in order to test your readiness. You can also attend training where you'll have an opportunity to ask questions that you may have in preparing for your online examinations. In tightening our controls, UNISA has introduced proctoring tools in order to authenticate your identity and record your surroundings. That being said, we have noted an increase in solicitation of our students through SMSs by third-party suppliers, enticing our students to write on their behalf. While UNISA has opened up a case with the Hawks in order to investigate how these suppliers have received our student details, we have assured ourselves through data that majority of our students have not participated in such fraudulent activities. However, we have identified that there has been some students who have shared their login details with these suppliers. In some cases, these students have purchased scripts from the said suppliers. Our measures of identifying academic dishonesty has proven to be effective, as over 97% of students who have been identified have received sanctions of between 1 to 3 years from the university. These students can no longer proceed with their academic year and will have to wait until the sanction period lapses before completing their studies. Students will also not be able to register at other South African universities during this period. Having said, in disciplinary proceedings, students who have been identified have been remorseful and were unaware of the consequences of their action. Because the sanctions reflect on the student's academic record, it affects their employment opportunity and their professional integrity. We urge our students not to engage in such dishonest behaviors as it is not worth it. Our stance is to protect all students' qualification, and we shall do so vigorously and unapologetically. We wish all our students all the best for their examinations and as they complete their qualifications with the leading African university, UNISA.
So those are some wise words from our chair of the exam committee, Ms. Pindiwe Kamalani, who has really looked at unpacking what were some of the challenges, but more specifically also what are some of the consequences. And I think a latter part of her statement that a lot of students who were found guilty ended up being very remorseful, apologetic, and saying we didn't know about it. So this is why these type of sessions are critical for you, so that we are able to conscientize you to some of the challenges. Now, to unpack this more strategically for us, and I know she's actually brilliant in this, it's my pleasure to invite Ms. Jessica Nell, who's now going to walk us through academic integrity. Thank you very much, Jessica.
Thank you, Dr. Chetty, and you're so kind. And welcome everyone here today. What Ms. Kamalani was focusing on in that video is the concept of academic integrity, which is absolutely critical to your success in university and beyond. So let's explore what it means and why it's essential in our online assessments. Let's look a bit at the values that academic integrity is built on first. You see, the whole concept of a university is built on these values. It's our foundation, our bedrock, and it's not just about the faculty and staff, it's about everyone, including you, the students. We all need to embrace the values of academic integrity. If we don't, we risk losing our credibility, and that can have very serious consequences. Think about it. If potential employers start doubting the value of your degree, that's a big problem, right? So let's dig into these values just a bit. First up is honesty. It's simple yet profound. It's all about being truthful and giving credit where it's due, keeping promises and staying factual. It's not just about you, it's a collective effort that creates this ripple effect across our academic community. Trust comes next, and it's kind of like a dance. You have to earn the trust of others while also trusting them in return. How can you do that as a student? By producing work that's honest, thoughtful, and genuine. When you act with sincerity and promote openness and encourage understanding, you are building trust. Then there's fairness. It's all about playing the game right. No favoritism, no bias treatment. As students, you can demonstrate fairness by doing your own work, citing your sources properly, respecting our rules and policies, and upholding the university's reputation. Respect is another big one. It's all about treating yourself and others with dignity. You show respect when you seize opportunities to learn and take responsibility for your own education and participate in a way that is fair and kind. Listening to feedback, having open communication, and understanding the impact of your actions. That is how you show respect. Responsibility is a shared burden in our learning community. It's about holding yourself and others accountable, knowing and following our rules, and setting a positive example. So seek out information from your lecturers and about our policies, and that's how you're going to demonstrate responsibility. And finally, we come to courage, standing up for what is right, even when it's tough. Upholding the highest standards of academic integrity takes a lot of guts. It's about standing up against wrongdoing and defending integrity no matter what. So there you have it, the core values of academic integrity. We're all in this together, so let's uphold these values and make our university a place we can all be proud of. But let's imagine for a moment that these values aren't followed. Say, for example, you cheat or hire someone to write your exam or copy someone else's work without giving them credit. Now, what happens if you take those habits into the workplace? Employers aren't exactly lining up to hire someone who doesn't play by the rules, right? So if there's a disciplinary case on your academic record, as Ms. Kamalani mentioned, an employer might think twice before offering you a job. Think of it like a chain reaction. If word gets out that students at our university don't uphold academic integrity, people might start to question the value of a degree from here. That's not just bad news for the university, but also for you as a graduate of that university. We could even risk losing our accreditation from quality assurance bodies like the Council of Higher Education or professional bodies like the South African Institute of Higher Education, who currently recognize us as a reputable institution producing quality graduates. So it's not just about you. If other students cheat, it can tarnish the value of your degree as well. That's why it's so important that we all uphold these values together. After all, we're all in this together, and every single one of us plays a part in preserving the integrity and reputation of our university. So, cheating. Let's talk about a few of the things that could seriously harm your academic journey and potentially your future career. First up, there's the buying or selling of exam papers. This is very serious and even illegal. Even sharing the exam paper with a friend might seem harmless, but it could lead to unexpected problems. Imagine that your friend maybe gives that to someone else, that paper, to a cheating service. Oops. So speaking of cheating services, you might also come across people who try to sell your exam answers, a practice known as contract cheating or ghostwriting. They might have gotten that exam paper through very shady means and then worked out the answers to sell it. Some might even suggest ways to trick your lecturer, like shuffling the answers around or deliberately making errors. But here's the catch. They often sell the same answer script to many students, and there's always someone who doesn't change anything, which makes it very, very easy to catch everyone else. And there's another form of contract cheating, is having someone else take your exam for you in real time. They might try to log in with your credentials and write your exam. This was also mentioned in Ms. Kamalani's video. But with UNISA's use of Iris, the Invigilator app, and proctoring software, it's possible for us to detect if multiple assessments are being written from one location or even by the same person. Our exam rules also strictly prohibit the use of generative AI for writing exams. And in most cases, you're also not allowed to look up answers online. Then lastly, there's plagiarism, another big issue. It's when you use someone else's ideas without giving them credit. Even in a short exam, while you might not be asked to reference every idea, you still can't copy and paste from other sources, even your study guide. You've got to put things into your own words, called paraphrasing. Remember, your actions now can have a big impact on your future. So let's commit to upholding those values and making our academic community a place where honesty and integrity thrive. Then we have study groups. They can be absolutely fantastic, right? They're not only great for tackling very tough topics together, but they provide emotional support during those late night study sessions. But here's the thing. Sometimes these groups might unintentionally slip into some not so great habits, like sharing answers during exams. Let's be clear. Working together to answer exam questions, whether it's in person or through messaging apps like Telegram or WhatsApp, is a no-go. It might seem like just asking a question or sharing an answer, but it crosses the line into cheating territory. Now, I'm not saying ditch your study group. Far from it. The key is to set some clear ground rules. Make sure everyone in your group understands that when it comes to exams, it's every person for themselves. Show trust and honesty in your actions, even when no one is watching. And remember, it's not just about avoiding punishment. It's about growing as an individual, learning to stand on your own 2 feet and building a solid foundation for your future. So let's all commit to making our study groups a place where integrity, honesty, and trust thrive. Now the peak interest about invigilation software. Whether it's Moodle for proctoring, Iris, or the invigilation app, it's crucial to use the right software. Not doing so is a breach of academic integrity. And remember, it's on you to know the rules and to keep to them. Part of that is making sure you know how to use the software correctly, which includes setting it up and testing it beforehand. And we're going to help you with that today. Now, let's also talk about uploading your work at UNISA. There's a specific time that is set aside for this, and it's important to note that it's separate from your writing time. When the clock runs out on your writing time, that is it. You've got to stop. Save your work as a PDF and upload it. If you're writing by hand, scan your answers into a PDF and submit that. Make sure your PDFs don't have any restrictions. You can test this by sending a PDF to a friend and then seeing if they can open it. If they do have restrictions, the lecturer cannot open it to mark it. The upload time is there to help iron out those potential issues. If you choose to ignore this rule and keep writing into the upload time, you might run into problems. And if that happens, the university won't accept your script if you try to submit it outside the upload time. So let's make sure we're all prepared and on the same page. And that way, we can avoid any unnecessary stress and focus on what really matters, showing what we've learned and doing our best in our exams. So just a quick poll. After that information and for a little bit of interactivity, what do you think is the most common form of academic dishonesty among students? Now, we're going to post the little poll link in the chat, and if you can just fill in that form, please, you just put in your answers and we're going to move on. Okay, let's talk a little bit about what happens if a lecturer suspects plagiarism or cheating. It's a pretty formal process, and it's designed to ensure that value of fairness. First, the lecturer will gather all the necessary evidence. During this time, your marks for the assignment or exam in question might be put on hold. Once the lecturer has everything that they need, they'll issue you with a warning letter. And at this point, you can either accept the charge or contest it. And if you decide to contest the charge, there's going to be a formal hearing. And that hearing will weigh the evidence and determine whether it's likely that you did plagiarize or cheat. If you're found guilty, that's when they impose those sanctions. But remember, you are not alone in this process. You have the right to be represented by a fellow student or an SRC member. And if you're not satisfied with the outcome, you can appeal the decision. But keep in mind that the appeal decision is final. I hope it never comes to this, but it's important to know the process. Above all, let's strive to make our work something we can be proud of, knowing it's a true reflection of our own knowledge and efforts. Okay, let's chat about those potential consequences, those sanctions, if you're found guilty of plagiarism or cheating. Those sanctions can range quite a bit, from failing the module and needing to re-register, all the way to suspension for a period between 6 months to 5 years. And it's not just an immediate consequence. These sanctions actually appear on your academic record and can follow you throughout your career. Imagine every time that you're applying for a job, that academic record shows up with a mark against your integrity. That's not a great look, is it? In severe or repeated cases, the consequences get even more serious. You could have all of your earned credits cancelled, and if you're studying for a degree that's registered with a professional council, they might refuse to register you. That would mean you can't practice in the field you've studied for. I know these are heavy consequences, but they underline just how important it is to uphold academic integrity. Let's all strive to make sure our academic records reflect our hard work, our dedication, and our honesty. Let's make it something we can be proud of in the long run. But of course, we are very much aware that there's factors that happen, and we've heard from the students that have been called into sanctions about their own experiences. So what factors do you think contribute to academic dishonesty the most? There's going to be another little poll where you can have your say about what your experiences may be being. Please feel free to vote there, as it also gives us insight, and then we can find ways to help support you. And it's not really about punishment at all. How can we expect you, our students, to steer clear of dishonest behavior if we don't guide you on what it looks like and how to avoid it? So let's talk about those 6 values of academic integrity: honesty, trust, respect, responsibility, fairness, and courage. We can't just magically assume you'll understand these values without us highlighting them, right? So we incorporate ethics awareness into our programs, our modules, and orientations, just like what we've done today. In this way, we can arm you with the knowledge and skills to uphold these values. Time management is another crucial skill. Have you heard of notional hours? It's the idea that 1 credit equals 10 hours of study. If you can master this concept, you'll be a lot more prepared. Many students say they resort to cheating because they didn't have enough time to study or complete assignments. By creating a weekly schedule, you can plan better and manage your workload across all your modules. We also want you to know where to go if you need to practice certain skills. Maybe you're feeling a bit overwhelmed with computer and online skills, referencing and paraphrasing skills, or other technical aspects. We have resources like the MOOCs that David showed you, the digital literacy MOOC, and also lessons about academic integrity that you can use to improve. And don't forget, if you're unsure about something, just ask for help. You can reach out to the counseling units at this university or to your tutors and lecturers. Finally, the university itself is also trying to help you by getting more creative with our assessments. Authentic or alternative assessments are designed to encourage your unique voice. They are more task-oriented and reflective, which makes them a lot more meaningful and focusing on more higher order abilities like analysis, evaluation, synthesis, creation. These are things that the world of work is looking for today. If any copying or cheating is happening in these types of assessments, it sticks out like a sore thumb. So let's all work together to create a learning environment that champions honesty, respect, and integrity. We really believe in you. We know you're here today, and that shows us that you want to succeed. So if you ever witness academic dishonesty, it's important to act now that you are aware. And that's where that value of courage is going to come into play again. You can report any incidents to our whistleblower hotline at 0800 005 311, or you can send an email to the email on the screen or visit the website there as well. It might seem scary, but standing up for what is right is a crucial part of maintaining academic integrity. So be brave, be bold, And let's all do our part to keep our learning community honest and fair. And your courage is going to make a huge, huge difference in that. Think of it, academic integrity, like it's a giant puzzle where we each represent a piece. Whether you're a student, if there's a lecturer, an administrator, everyone has a role to play in completing this big picture. But here's the thing. If even one piece goes missing, our picture isn't complete. You might be thinking to yourself, are these rules really, really necessary? The short answer is absolutely. These rules aren't here just for the sake of having rules. They're here to protect the value of your degree, to ensure that the hard work you put into earning it is recognized and that it is respected. So let's all do our part to keep our puzzle intact, to uphold the integrity of our learning community. After all, your degree and our students' degrees and futures, their careers, are worth every bit of effort. So a last chance to have your say. What do you think is going to be the most effective way for us to promote academic integrity and for you to promote academic integrity at UNISA? Please have a look at the poll that's just gone up. Have your say. And thank you so much for listening to me today and committing to our integrity.
Thanks so much for that, Jessica, and articulating that so carefully for our students, but also for providing those insights on how our students can address some of the challenges that they may be confronted with, specifically in the upcoming examination and the environment that we are writing these examinations. Now, students, with that said and done, the question that you now have a good understanding of why we're doing what we are doing. But now let's introduce you to some of the tools. I see some of the questions that are now prompting up or popping up on the both platforms, both the Teams as well as the YouTube, pertaining to the proctoring tools. And now this is where we really start unpacking these tools. So please do pay very, very careful attention to the next part of this particular session as we start to give you insights into how these tools work, what these tools are used for, and some of the challenges that you could encounter and how you can address that. So proctoring tools, let me start by, we know that we have 3 proctoring tools at UNISA. We have the Moodle proctoring, the Invigilator app, and the Iris. Now we're going to unpack these 3 tools separately. So let me start by inviting David back to the floor, and he's going to talk to us about the profile photo and Moodle proctoring. Thank you very much, David.
All right, thanks, Denzel. All right, students, I'm back again. Okay, just to remind you guys, with the previous section, again, please get onto the course site. We have shared the link. I see students are joining, and they might have been joining a little bit late due to load shedding or for any reason. So the first thing is get onto the site and work through the lessons. I see one of my friends sent me a message saying, David, where are the steps again? All right, it's very straightforward, guys. So when you get to lesson 1, there are the steps that I showed you previously. So you can see step by step, it goes through all the steps for you. Then under lesson 2, just to remind you guys, we all got the 2 different types of assessments. It's multiple choice, take home. All right, so there they are. There's the icons as well. And we also give you some more information. So as I said to you in the beginning, please don't skip anything. Don't go to lesson 3 if we haven't worked through lessons 1 and 2. So please do that. All right, so let's continue now with lesson 3. So the proctoring tools. So as Dr. Chetty already mentioned, there are 3 different types that you've got. It doesn't mean you're going to do them all. You might only have one of them that you're going to use. So let's first identify what these tools are. And then we're going to show you how to identify which tools you need to use. And then you're going to go and practice those tools. So that's pretty much the sort of steps that we're going to follow. Okay, so the first one is Moodle proctoring. All right. And then we've got the Invigilating app, and then we've got Iris. So those are the 3 different ones we're going to look at. But before we do that, let's have a look at the uploading of your profile picture. So I click on it, it's going to open a page for me. The very first thing it comes across, you'll notice it's sort of in this pinkish red color, is the edit profile link. So if you're not seeing this edit profile link, there's a couple of things you can try. Take your device, if you're using a smartphone, change it to landscape mode or request desktop version. Those are the settings you can maybe play with. You can see the steps here under the FAQ, so you can also see it there if you don't know, or you can do a quick Google search. And then check if you can see the edit profile. So maybe it's hidden based on the screen size that you're using. The other thing is, please make sure that you are logged into myUnisa. Okay, if you're not in myUnisa, if you're under myExams, for example, you will not see the edit profile link there. So step one, check which site are you logging into. So first go to myUnisa, you'll click on My Modules. Then on the right-hand side, you'll see this, so it should be blank. Okay, so then you click on Profile. And then you should see the Edit Profile button. So that's what we're saying to you. So if your screen size is a little bit small, change those settings, see if you can maybe expand it, and then hopefully you can see that. If you still don't see it, go back to step number 1 and check where did you log in. Okay, right, so once you click on Edit, then it's going to pop up this little guy and you're going to select your picture, right? So just like you would have done in your assignments, similar, but this time it's a picture of yourself. You choose your file, go find it on your desktop or your smartphone. You'll see the picture that this gentleman is very happy, he's smiling, he's happy to be writing exams. So yes, you can smile if you want to, but try to keep the pictures as simple as possible, ladies, so you don't need to dress up and make up and all sorts of things. Just be nice and natural. You're beautiful anyway. So yes, so upload your profile pic. If it doesn't come out horizontally, or it comes, vertically, it comes out horizontally, you might need to just crop your picture. You can use MS Paint for that, or even PowerPoint, I think, can do it, or Microsoft Word can even do it. So you might just need to crop it to make sure that it's then vertical. Okay, so again, you can use Google, depending on your device that you've got, the quickest, easiest way to do that. So then you upload your picture, and then once you click on the update profile, you should see voila on the right hand side. So there you can see my beautiful picture. Sorry guys, I'm married, so you know what's happening there. So yes, so then your picture will be there. Now those are the steps that we do, but that's step by step by step. Right. We also have videos for you. There's small little video clips that runs on each of these pages. And if you play it, I'm just going to quickly do this one. They're very short. But really what we're doing here is we're explaining to you step by step exactly everything that I showed you. And there we go. You can see how the video is moving along. So guys, it's really up to you. So we give you videos if you prefer that route, or if you prefer to go through step by step by step. Totally up to you. But you must please do this. You can do this today, guys. It's a simple thing to do. Upload your picture, then you know that is done. There are a lot of students like to ask, do we need to do this, David? Unfortunately, you have to. So please do upload your profile pic. Get it done today, okay? Right, so that will be done. That's the first part of lesson number 3, getting the profile picture uploaded. The next thing we do is, let's go see what tools do I need to go and understand and practice. Okay, so then we look at proctoring tools. So you'll see there's the next link. So what happens is this little page, it just wants you to type the module code. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to type in sort of the last 4 digits of a code just to show you pretty much how this works. Now, for example, if you were doing this module, if you're a law student, a College of Law, you're doing your CLA module, it's multiple choice. So there it's telling me, and it's Moodle proctoring. Then I already know, okay, this tool I'm going to need to learn and practice so that I'm prepared for my exam. You can also see which tools you're using on your exam timetable, and definitely should be under the announcements for each module as well. But this is a nice place just to do it all one shot. Then you can check all your modules using this tool, just type in the code, and then you can see which type of app do you need to use. For example, if you're doing any of these 2 modules with CAS, these are take-home assignments or assessments, and it's the invigilating app that you can use. So there we go. So this is the next thing you do. So you upload your pic. Now you come and see which tools do I need to use. Great. Now I know. Let's say, for example, these are both of mine All right, that means these are the two I'm going to need to do. So one is going to be multiple choice and others take home. That's why it's so important in lesson 2 to make sure you go through it step by step, that you understand what is a multiple choice and what is a take home. Just remember, lots of information sitting here, so don't skip the steps. Right, so now I'm going to cover the proctoring side of things, the Moodle proctoring, and the colleagues are going to cover the Invigilator app and the Iris side. So yes, so don't be surprised when you hear other people speaking. They also got their part that they're going to show you. Now, proctoring tool, guys, it's part of your device, not your device, it's part of your Moodle platform. All right, so it will use your device's webcam or your camera. So if it's a smartphone, it's your camera. If it's your laptop, it's a webcam. Okay, so it's going to use what's already available to it. So that's nice. You don't need to install anything. It's already there, and it's simply going to run through Moodle. Okay, that's why we also call it Moodle proctoring, even though it's also webcam or multiple choice. So there's lots of names, but definitely just remember the proctoring tool will definitely tell you which one you're using. So what does it do? It just basically takes a screenshot every 30 seconds or so. So you just ignore it, really. Once it's working, it's running, just ignore it. And I'm going to show you this practically, so stay with us. All right, and then again, landscape and desktop view. So just take note, this is why it's so important to do the practice, the mock exams, the demos. Because you can use your device, you can test out how your device is going to behave, and you can play around with your device to get it to the best possible way that you could easily use the proctoring tool with the device that you're using. So it's really, really critical that you do these things. And as I've said, probably it's in 10th time already today, please work through all the lessons step by step. Don't skip any of them. Right, now because Moodle proctoring, it's only multiple choice. Okay, so how does it work? Again, you'll see this icon. You see now why this is important? Because in step 1 and 2, we explained how to get to this point. Now, from those lessons, we are going to continue. So you click on the icon, it's going to open a page. It looks something like this as an example, the date, the time, some important information right in the middle. So please do not cover up your webcam. Don't close the shutter. Don't put your finger or a sticky note on it. Try to keep it clean as much as possible, okay? Otherwise, exam integrity will start looking into such things. They'll think you're trying to do something. So be very careful. Just leave it alone, basically. If it's running, leave it there. Right, so then you'll say you've got 30 minutes. Okay, our little practice exam's not very long, but mock exam. But yes, so there's a time limit and it says, okay, the grade, that's not a problem. You're going to click on attempt quiz now, and what will happen is immediately your web browser, the software is going to say to your web browser, I need to use your camera only when you are doing the practice exam or the actual exam. It won't ask any other time when you're doing any other thing on your laptop, not at all. Only when you access Moodle proctoring through the Moodle site. Then it's going to say, okay, I need to use your camera, and you're going to have to say allow. Okay, if you block it, you're going to have to unblock it. You'll see the little icon will pop up in over here somewhere, and then you'll have to unblock it. Then once you've clicked on it, it's going to just say, okay, attempt your quiz, no problem. And then immediately your camera is going to switch on. So it'll start looking at you, all right? And then you'll tick, there's a little block, you're going to tick it, and then the start attempt will become available. Now I'm just showing you the foundation, the steps that you can expect. And then once you do it practically, you've got a good idea of what's coming up. It won't be surprises. Then once it opens, you'll see the camera will start taking pictures of you, and then you can work through all the questions. So it looks pretty much like what you would have done with a normal multiple choice. The only difference is you're going to see yourself every now and then there. Now, as again, like what you've done with all the other lessons, there is a video that you can work through which basically explains the whole concept. And there's Dr. Marais showing hi to you guys. So work through it and also go through the video just to recap. Remember, we're building a foundation here. And this is how it's going to work. A little bit later, we are going to show you practically how this is actually all going to unfold. So for now, we're just building in that foundation. Very, very important. All right. So that's pretty much covering the proctoring side of things. So now the colleagues are going to continue with the Invigilating app and also the Iris app. So I'm going to hand back to Dr. Chetty, who is going to then introduce the speaker with the Invigilating app, and then I'll be joining you guys a little bit later again. Back to you, Dr. Chetty.
Thanks so much, David, for that, and especially unpacking the Moodle proctoring tool at UNISA and how this is going to be used. So now that you know the Moodle proctoring tool, some of you may already identify that this is something I'm using in the exams, but then some of you are also using the Invigilator app. So let's invite Jury Vessels to the floor as he unpacks a little bit about the Invigilator app. Thank you, Jury, for joining us today, especially on this Saturday, and providing some key insights to our students on the Invigilator app. I know this is really, you've been with us so long already, so you know a lot of the questions and challenges that students face. And we thank you at this time for taking the Saturday to provide some of these key insights to our students. Thanks, Jury.
Thank you, Dr. Chetty. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Yuri Vessels, and I'm just going to spend a little bit of time on the Invigilator app and to help students to prepare for using the Invigilator app. So, ladies and gentlemen, the Invigilator app will be used for all your take-home assessments, as we have mentioned during the session already. And I'm just going to start off by telling you what the Invigilator application will do whilst you are writing your assessment or attempting your exam and you are being invigilated by the invigilator. So firstly, ladies and gentlemen, there will be a number of photo checks where we are going to expect you to take a selfie or two during the assessment, and that is specifically for us to be in a position to ensure that you are the correct student that is performing the assessment. Then there will be a number of audio recordings that are taken. You will not know when these audio recordings are taken, but ladies and gentlemen, it's important to note that you are not allowed to speak to somebody about the contents of your exam or of your assessment. So you're not allowed to get help, or you're not allowed to get assistance from somebody. Then there will also be a couple of customized instructions where the application is going to ask you to take a photo of your ID document or your passport or driver's license, and you will also be asked to take a photo of the script page that you are busy with. So during the course of the assessment, you will be expected to take about 4 photos whilst you are writing. Then, ladies and gentlemen, the application will also track your location whilst you are being invigilated, and that is to ensure that you are not writing the assessment with a group of friends where you are helping one another during the course of the assessment. On the next slide, you will see that the application also has a built-in browser, and this is important to note because we do know that there are quite a number of students that only have a smartphone and that they have to perform the assessment from the smartphone whilst they are being invigilated by the Invigilator application. So for those students that only has one device, or only has a smartphone, you will launch the Invigilator application, you will start the assessment, and you will start the invigilation, and then you will see there is the option for you to access your browser, and through the Invigilator application, you will then access myExams, where you will be able to locate your paper. And all of this whilst you are still inside the Invigilator application and being invigilated by your phone. Please take note that if you do have access to a laptop or a desktop device, you are more than welcome to still perform the assessment on your laptop or desktop computer, and you will then just be invigilated by the invigilator. However, if you only have one device, you will then make use of the built-in browser. Ladies and gentlemen, then there's also a PDF scanner in the application, and at the end of your writing time, so as soon as the time for you to write the assessment is over, you will then be prompted to immediately scan each page of your answer sheet through the built-in browser in the Invigilator application. And it's also important to note that that scan can also be shared outside of the app once you are done with the invigilation for upload to myExams as well. So it's easier that you only have to scan the script once through means of the built-in scanner in the Invigilator application. But then, ladies and gentlemen, when you access the Invigilator application and you start the invigilation session of your exam, there will be a notification that will tell you that you are not allowed to minimize or close the application whilst you are writing. So you need to be invigilated for the full duration. you cannot minimize or close the application or let it run in the background. It has to be in the foreground all the time. You will see that the screen will dim from time to time, and that is just to save battery, but it will never lock your phone completely. So this is quite an important point. You are not allowed to minimize or to close the Invigilator application whilst you are writing the assessments. Then I'm just going to share my browser screen as well, and on my browser screen I am going to take you to the document or to the actual page where we have spent some time on this morning as well. And this is where I'm going to show you just under lesson 3. Remember, we're going to work our way down, and under lesson 3 you will see there's a very specific place for the Invigilator application where there's quite a lot of information that will also assist you. I'm not going to go through this page in detail with you. You can do this in your own time. I'm just going to highlight the most important sections of this page. So you will see it starts off by just giving you a bit of background and context to how the application is going to work. And then you will see we're going to get to a point where you need to check if your module uses the Invigilator. Remember, there are 3 proctoring solutions at UNISA, and you need to double check which one you need to use for a specific assessment. So you check whether you need to use the Invigilator application. Then if you need to use it, you're going to download it either from the Google Play Store, from the Apple App Store, or from the Huawei App Gallery. So on your phone, very important, you need to use the mobile version, so the one on your phone. And then, ladies and gentlemen, after having done that, you will register with your UNISA MyLife email address and student number. Now, very important, if you've never used the Invigilator before, you will see that there's a recording here. It's a 7-minute, very short video that shows you step by step exactly what you need to do and how you are going to go about using the Invigilator mobile application. So guys, very important if you've never used the app before to watch this 7-minute video. Then you will see below that, there's also a link to our student user guide, which is also a very important document for students to use. And it contains a lot of information about the application and what you need to know. Now, once again, in this document, I'm going to just show you 2 very important sections that you need to focus your attention on. The first one is you will see if I go to page 8, you will see that there's a demo code that you can perform where you can do a short 8-minute test just to familiarize yourself with the application so that you don't get to the day of the assessment and then for the first time you have to figure out how it works. You can also perform this demo test multiple times, ladies and gentlemen, so you can do it more than once if you want to just familiarize yourself with the use of the application. You will also see that if we go to page 6 of this document, there's also a WhatsApp number that you can WhatsApp if you need any further assistance. So if there's any guidance or technical help that you need, you can go there, and you can see it's also on this portal. If I go back to lesson 3, there you will see towards the bottom of the document, there is our WhatsApp line number. We've got a help desk that runs 7 days a week. So if you experience any technical difficulties when registering or when signing up for the application or when or during your actual exam, please reach out to this number. But please remember, it's only a WhatsApp line. You cannot phone or actually speak to somebody. It's only a WhatsApp helpline. Ladies and gentlemen, so that is in a nutshell what I wanted to then also share with you. Very important, just the last thing from my side is, ladies and gentlemen, it is important for you to note that when the writing time is over, there will be a 10-minute window for you to scan your script. So you need to immediately scan your script on the Invigilator application when you get to the last 10 minutes of the assessment. Thereafter, you will have 48 hours to upload your data onto the Invigilator servers. So, ladies and gentlemen, we do suggest that you upload this data as soon as possible. It will attempt to automatically upload as soon as you are done. But if for some reason you battle with connection or there's load shedding or the cell phone towers are down, you will find the option to upload the data later. You have got a 48-hour window to do so. So if you do not upload your invigilation data within 48 hours, unfortunately, it will be deemed that you have not been invigilated, and therefore, unfortunately, your mark will be withheld. So it's very important to upload within 48 hours. And ladies and gentlemen, please do not get confused between the scanning of your script. You don't have 48 hours to scan your script. You've got to scan your script immediately after the assessment within the 10-minute window, but all of the invigilation data will have to be uploaded within 48 hours, but we do suggest that you do so as soon as possible. Ladies and gentlemen, last piece of a bit of advice from my side. Please do not leave the signing up and the registering on the invigilator application for 10 or 15 minutes before your exam starts. Do this well in advance. Do this at least 2 days before your first exam so that you can familiarize yourself with the application. We don't want you to be anxious on the day, and we want you to have a bit of time to sort out any difficulties that you might have in this process. And that's it from our side. Thank you, Dr. Chetty. Back to you.
Thanks, Jury, for that, and for also unpacking what Invigilator app is. I think on the screen now we have the ALP WhatsApp number as well. So students, please take careful note of that. If you do have any challenges, you can contact that number directly. David has put it up and shared it on the screen once again. So now we move from Invigilator app. You now know what the proctoring tools are. You know the Moodle proctoring, you know the Invigilator app. And now specifically for the College of Science, Engineering and Technology. Now, the IRIS app is only at presently used for the College of Science, Engineering and Technology students. So this is specifically for you if you are in CSET, the College of Science, Engineering and Technology. It's my pleasure to invite Lazarus, who is one of the key people in CSET that is working with this particular tool. Thanks, Lazarus.
Thank you, Denzel, and good afternoon, students. Okay, so I'm going to take you through the setup instructions for IRIS. As Denzel mentioned, that IRIS is only used in CSET, which is the College of Science, Engineering and Technology, and these will be your science, your computer science, mathematics, physics, chemistry, statistics, engineering modules. So please know that even if you are using the Invigilator app or you belong to one of the other colleges like CAS or SIMS, it's possible that you may be doing one of the modules in CSET, so you would probably then use the Invigilator app for some of your modules, but for your science-specific modules, you would use IRIS. So just be aware of that you might use 2 different apps if you're a student that belongs to one of the other colleges. So what is IRIS? So IRIS is an invigilation system that helps UNISA helps us with assessment integrity, as was discussed earlier. IRIS records audio, video, and screen activity during the entire duration of the examination. It analyzes information using machine learning and automatically flags potential academic dishonesty. The key word here is potential. Doesn't mean that if you are flagged that you will necessarily be sent for disciplinary. Although IRIS may flag you, it is an actual person that determines whether academic dishonesty may have taken place or not. So IRIS will flag you, but someone will still look at the recordings to try and determine if you cheated or not. So if you're moving, if you are sometimes, even if you may go to the bathroom, you are allowed to go to the bathroom. IRIS might flag you, but somebody will look at the recording, like I mentioned. So IRIS, there is specific equipment that's required for IRIS. Because it records audio, video during the entire duration of examination, you need a stable internet connection. IRIS uploads these recordings every 10 minutes, so you need to be connected to the examination during your entire examination. So you need to be connected to the internet. You need a laptop or desktop. IRIS does not work on a tablet or mobile device or a phone. You need a laptop or desktop with an external built-in microphone. You cannot use a headset. You need a web camera. We recommend that the minimum specifications for your computer to be 4 GB RAM. If you have less than this, IRIS may give you problems during the examination. Even if you have 4 GB RAM, we recommend that you don't have any other applications apart from Google or apart from your web browser. If you're using a word processor like Microsoft Word to type in your answers, and then Iris. So nothing else open on your computer. So just to ensure that Iris runs properly. We also ask that you have Windows, a minimum of Windows 7 64-bit. I recommend Windows 10. So how does Iris work? Iris is a browser plugin. It is something that is installed on your browser. We recommend that you use Google Chrome, but it will also work on Microsoft Edge. It doesn't work on any other browsers apart from Google Chrome or Microsoft Edge. You need to have the latest version of the browser installed, or Iris may not work. So before you write your examination or an Iris invigilated examination, you need to go to the Chrome Web Store, or in the case of Microsoft Edge, you will go to the Edge Store. You will search for the Iris extension in the Chrome Web Store. So to get to the Chrome Web Store, you can just Google Chrome Web Store, and Chrome Web Store will probably be the first or the second link that pops up on Google. So go to the Chrome Web Store and then search for Iris in the search bar on the Web Store. Iris will be the first extension that pops up. This is what the Iris icon looks like. Once you click on that Iris extension, you will get this message, and it will ask you permission to add Iris to Chrome. You can click on Add to Chrome, and this is the pop-up you will click on the second box. You then click on Continue. Fully online, we do not write and complete your examination or request permission for it to use your camera and microphone. You will have to click allow on both instances. Then after you've given Iris permission to use your camera and microphone, the permissions for camera and microphone is only on the first time you use Iris, and each subsequent time it won't ask you for permission again. So if you've given it permission, then this is the screen that you will see. You will be asked to agree to the terms and conditions and privacy policy. You need to click on that box. You won't be able to continue. You haven't clicked on the first box. You don't have to click on the second box. You then click on continue. Then the first time you use Iris, this lady will give you instructions. Well, every time you use Iris, she will give you instructions on why Iris is being used and what to do in each subsequent step that follows after this one. So she'll ask you to fill in the details here. You'll need to choose a microphone. You need to fill in your full name. You need to put your student ID here. It needs to be your student ID and not your South African ID number. It needs to be your 8-digit student ID that needs to be entered in correctly, or the system will, if it's incorrect, even if you miss one digit or swap digits around, the system will pick you up as not having used Iris. So please just take note of that. So as I mentioned, this lady talks and gives you instructions. On the first time you use Iris, you need to let it give you talk completely. So you need to let her go to the entire setup process and then complete these instructions, and then you'll be able to click on next. On each subsequent use of Iris, you can pause or complete these instructions, and then you'll be able to click on next. Once you click on next, you will then be asked to take a picture of your student ID. You can use your student ID. If you do not have a student ID card, you can use a South African driver's license or your passport or your South African ID book, or even your South African ID card if you have an ID card. One important thing to know that even though you may have used your South African ID here, when it requests a capture of your ID, in this previous step, you still have to put in your student number, not your ID number. That's important. Some students, because they feel they need to use their South African ID here, they put the South African ID number here, and that's not correct. That the system won't work if you do that. After you've clicked on, you've captured your ID, and you've clicked on next, you need to click on start invigilation. Once you've clicked on start invigilation, there's another important step that you need to complete. You need to allow Iris to share your screen. This pop-up will contain a little copy of your entire screen. So this picture will be a
That's what we would really recommend. And it gobbles up the lessons, all the info.
CSET major examinations are linked to an IRIS practice site on the CSET examination portal, which is cset.myexams.co.za. You can go there. If you are writing an examination that is IRIS invigilated, you should be linked to the CSET practice site. So go there and do the 2 practice examinations on that site just to test if IRIS is working. Make sure that you test IRIS on the same network and on the same laptop that you will be writing your IRIS invigilated examination on. On that site, you will find these instructions that I've just gone through now. You will also find some troubleshooting documentation for common errors that students experience with IRIS. One important thing to note is that for MCQ examinations or online quiz examinations that are fully online, where you do not write on paper, passwords are required for those examinations. So once you complete IRIS, a password screen will pop up, but the password is filled in automatically by IRIS. So if you've completed IRIS, the IRIS steps correctly, and you shared your screen, then the password will be filled in, and you will then be able to access your MCQ exam. If your IRIS has not started, you have not filled in the password, and it's not set up correctly, the password won't be filled in, so and you will not be able to access your examination. So in those instances, please don't ask your lecturer for the password. Your lecturer won't have the password. Please don't send an email. Make sure that IRIS pops up and has completed the instructions, and that you shared your screen, or else you won't be able to access the examination. Your lecturer will just tell you to install IRIS if you haven't installed it, and tell you to complete IRIS correctly. They will not give you the password. Okay, so that's it. Thank you, and good luck with your examination. Thanks.
Thanks very much for that, Lazarus. So that's particularly, as I mentioned earlier, for the College of Science, Engineering and Technology. And this is an important one for you. So please do go and look at this unit in the study if you haven't started it yet. And the most critical one, the mock exams, David, where our students can go and try these proctoring tools for themselves, get familiar with it, and lessen their stress before the examination. So welcome back, David.
All right, thanks, Denzel, and thanks, students. We see you are posting lots of questions there, and the team is answering. So, yes, please do post your questions, students, and we are going to be covering some information going forward. I do see students were saying, where can we get the presentations? Okay, just remember, guys, the website that we're sharing with you, we'll share it again in the chat with you. Once you've registered, quick thing to do, all the lessons, all the information that we're sharing, lesson by lesson, is all covered in here in detail. I see the one person was asking about the invigilating app. So it's under lesson number 3. So if you click on the page, it will give you basically everything that the colleague showed you. So you guys can go and check this out, where to install. There is the video as well that you can work through. Okay, so it's all on the site, ready and accessible to you guys. Same applies to the IRIS invigilating or proctoring app, and the information is also there. There's also the video as well. So guys, please don't think we're not going to give you the info. It's already there. I'm just going to reshare from my side quickly so that I can go back to my presentation, my PowerPoint. Okay, so required devices. Now, students, as you would have seen, there are certain requirements, or there are certain suggestions of hardware that you might need. So the first one we look at is your smartphone. So every now and then, I know when your contract expires and you get a new phone, what are the type of things that you should consider? Definitely, if your phone is more than 5 years old, it is going to make it a little bit more difficult for you in terms of how technology has moved already. So that is something you must just consider. But that's also why we're doing the mock exams and the demo exams and going through all this information today, so that you can test out your device to see how does it behave. If you need to borrow a device, then at least now you've got time to get something organized. because ultimately you want to pass your exams. I mean, you put a lot of work into it, so it's just that final hurdle that you need to get through. The operating system, keep it updated as much as possible. I know that one tends to eat a lot of data. So if you are close to a free hotspot zone or a regional campus, a UNISA campus or a digital access center, go and visit them and use the Wi-Fi that's freely available on campus and do all your updates on your laptop and your smartphones and anything that you need to update. So that I would also suggest. Access to the internet will be a requirement during exam period. I know you guys do get data. We will share that contact information a little bit later if there are any problems. So yes, access to the internet is important because your device will obviously want to keep itself updated as well. So it definitely wants to be on the internet. I know space is always a problem because we love doing videos and selfies, and it gobbles up the space very quickly. So when you have, for example, if you do need to download the Invigilating app that only works on a smartphone, it doesn't work on laptop, say, then you will have to make sure you've got some space. So you might need to delete some of the pictures or obviously back them up rather than delete them. So test out, make sure your camera's working, your microphone working, and your sound is working. So if you are going to upgrade at some point, check out these sort of three major elements of a phone, a new phone. Considering if you're going to be studying for the next 3 or 4 years, who knows how long, and you have the opportunity, think a little bit ahead and say, okay, what can I look at going forward? So that's how that can work. The other thing is, I do get this quite often. Students are saying to me, David, I've got a desktop computer. I do have internet at home, but I can't connect it to the internet, and I don't have a webcam. What can I do? And actually, it's a very simple solution, guys. So if you do have a desktop and you do have internet at home, what you can do is you just get a Wi-Fi USB adapter, which will mean your desktop then will be able to connect to the internet if it's very far away from your Wi-Fi router at home. So that's one way to do it. And then you can just buy an external webcam and you plug it all in, Windows 10, make sure you got Windows 10 running. And then from there, it's actually very easy. And then you've got a device that you can use for your exams. So that's definitely one route instead of going to buy a laptop. So yes, you will need access to the internet. Okay, so that one pretty much goes hand in hand with your smartphone. You can install Office. Remember, guys, with your My Life login, you do have access to Office where you can install it on 5 different devices. So your smartphone, your laptop, your desktop, your tablet, whatever you've got access to, and you can have Word, Excel, PowerPoint. So please do check this out. We do have support videos on our YouTube channel, so you can actually go and see how to do this. So just remember, as a UNISA student, it's free. Make sure you use Chrome or Edge. So those are your web browsers. Make sure they're updated as well. Obviously, it goes hand in hand with the operating system. Then with your devices, make sure your camera is working, a webcam, if it's a camera. Yes, you'll have to test it out. Make sure it works. A microphone, normally from your laptop or the external ones that come with your desktop, not the headset one, guys. That's not going to work. Too many problems there. So I'd rather have the external one. Sound, and again, of course, Wi-Fi. These devices will need internet connection. If it's a hard cable, that's also fine. Then that also can work. So yes, so definitely these are the things that you can sort of be a little bit more creative instead of buying a new device and having a bigger expense where it's not really necessary. So that's what we would really recommend. All right, then we get to the biggie of the day, the mock exams. So we've been building up to this. As I said, we've been working through all the elements, all the lessons to get to lesson number 7, which is your mock exams. Okay, so again, there are 2 different types of exams that you're going to experience. Multiple choice, which we know is the Moodle proctoring, and the take-home. So I'm going to show you practically how this is going to work. Now, these 2 sites we've created are still sitting under your Moodle site, or your myUNISA site. So that's where you're going to access them, but you are going to do a quick little self-enroll. But of course, then you can practice using your apps, because by now this stage, when you hit lesson 7, you know exactly what you need to be practicing. So it's not going to be a bit of a surprise. And that's why I kept saying to you guys, work through these lessons. Don't skip anything. Okay, so with your mock exams, I'm just going to show you guys. So once you click on lesson 7, so you've worked through all those lessons, you promised me you're going to do that. All right, then we go here. Okay, so there we go. Multiple choice, great. Now, as we're saying, there is a different site that you're going to access. So it's not going to be in this site, but the link to get to the mock exam is sitting at lesson number 7. And of course, yes, we do have a video that you can also run through, as I said before. So if you scroll down, this is what's going to happen. You're going to log in. So you're going to click on that link. You're going to log in with your normal myUnisa details. You're going to click on the Enroll Me button, and then you'll be able to access the mock exam. So let me go and show you guys practically how this is working. So I'm just going to click on it. It's going to take me to the login. I'm just going to log in with my details quickly. Very quick to do. And because I've been there before, it's not going to say to me, please self-enroll. That's a once-off thing. You do it once and it's done and you don't have to worry. Okay, I see it is trying to log in. Give it a few seconds. Okay, all right. I'm just going to keep my eye on it while it's logging in. Okay, all right. Okay, my internet is still running. Yes, definitely. Just a little bit slow. Of course, you know what? Students are writing exams today. So I'm expecting it's a very busy day in terms of the network speed. But I'm sure it'll go through any second. All right. Okay, I see I did have it open twice. I just want to quickly check. I did type the right password. You see, guys, that's why it's so important to check. Not assume there's something wrong with your password. I know I recently changed mine. Let's try this route. Oh dear. Okay, I do see it's struggling along a little bit. Shucks. Okay. Right, so while I'm waiting for that, I'm just going to see if I can play this video so long. Let me just quickly put the sound on with my share. That's one thing I didn't do. Okay, there we go. Right, so I'm just going to play this video in the meantime while we try to see if we can get into the actual login.
Dear students, this is a short video to show you how to access the mock exams. First of all, you open to the basic online exams course, and then you click on the button that says mock exams. You will then go to the Open Mock Exams Sites button and click that. You will then be asked to log in using your student details. Type in your student details and password. Click Login. You will come to this page called Enrollment Options. You can self-enroll in this course simply by clicking the button Enroll Me. You are now enrolled in the mock exam practice site, and you will find the two types of exams here, the MCQ version, and here the take-home version. Open each and practice for your exam. Thank you.
Okay, so there we go, guys. So at least we had a little bit of video. Okay, I see it has gone through now. All right, thankfully, it's a little bit slow today. Sorry, guys. Looks like it's a very busy exam day today. There are lots of exams running. So you just had to be a little bit patient with this one. But there we go. It's managed to get in. Okay, so what will happen is you'll see the enroll button. You'll click on it, and then it'll open here. So you'll see under My Modules, you will see mock exams popping up over here. And then for those students doing CTA exams or IRIS, there is the link there as well. So again, it's pretty much the same process, but that's only for those students. Okay, so mock exams, here we go. So if you scroll down, we do give you some information, just to recap, okay, certain information that you can work through. Although if you've worked through the course site, you would pretty much have covered it, but we just put it there so it's quicker to access. Okay, so as I go down, you'll see there is the multiple choice exam and there's the take-home exam. All right, so let's tackle the multiple choice exam. So I'm going to click on it. So just like Dr. Maria showed you, you click on it and there we go. Do you see that, guys? There it's saying to me, okay, I need to access your camera. So let me be funny for a second and say block. There it shows me now. Do you see there, students? There it's telling me you're currently blocking and you won't be able to see it, even tells you. Okay, so unfortunately, you just have to click on it, say allow, and say done. All right, give it a few seconds. Okay, fabulous. There we go. Now, what I'll notice, you'll notice this little red icon is going to pop up, and you'll notice your camera's light will also go on. Okay, so that's fine. Okay, then we've got some introduction information for you. It's a very short little practice. It's a mock exam. It's a practice exam. So it'll take you not 90 minutes, but you've only got 5 questions. So it's more about the environment and testing your device. All right, and then we, again, just reminding you, play around with your device, check to make sure that everything's visible, that it's clear, and if you need to change things, change it then, because the mock exam is pretty much going to allow you to see exactly what you can expect. So there will be no surprises when it comes to the exam. We give you 10 attempts, guys. So that means you can go practice, play around, try devices, try different devices if you have access to them, and just to see which one would actually suit you the best. Because once you hit this lesson, remember, you've worked through the other 6, you know which modules are writing which, using which proctoring tools. So it shouldn't be now which one am I using scenario. Okay, so then we give you some date and time. We've kept it open right until December, guys, just so you've got plenty time to practice these things. And there at the bottom, you'll see attempt quiz now. So you're going to click on it. And immediately, there we go. You see my camera's on. You have to agree. All right. So here you can see me. Nice. And then you'll see, yeah, start attempt. So if you don't put that there, look what happens. The start attempt is not available. So you have to tick it to say you agree with the validation process. Click on start attempt. And there we go. There's your environment. So there you can see it. There are some differences, though, with an exam. So depending how it's been set up, you might not be able to move between the questions. In other words, you won't be able to jump to 1, to 2, to 3, then back to 1. Okay? You might only be able to answer the question and move to the next question. So just take note about that. That sort of information would have been given to you in your announcements in the module. So just take note. That's to prevent students from quickly saying, I'm on this question. What's the answer? What have you got? That, you know, the copying issues, the integrity issues. So that's why. Okay. So unfortunately, we have to do it this way. So you select your answer. You say next. Okay, so at this point, more importantly, guys, yes, you've probably done this in your semester, but more importantly is to check that your camera is working. So it's taking pictures of me every now and then. Okay, then you can work through it and you can finish the attempt. So once you've answered all the questions, you're going to have to then click on submit all and finish. And then it's going to pop up again to say, are you sure you want to finish? And then you're going to say, yes, finish. So now you already can see why this is so important, because now I've done it. I've used the proctoring tool, my device, how my device is behaving. Is it easy to follow through? And then there we go. Now you can go practice this and get comfortable with this. Students who do this, guys, it's definitely helping them in terms of the issues that they face, or the fact they don't have so many issues to get through. So hopefully that can help. All right, so that's basically how your MCQ works. Okay, so your multiple choice using proctoring. Then the second one that we do come across, it is your take-home exams. Okay, so again, we're going to click on this icon. It's going to open the exam. So now you're going to most likely use your invigilating app. So what we did is we've given you some guidelines about the exam. All right, also about 90 minutes, although it's more about the practical side, as I said before. We give you a QR code. So you can do the demo then, use the QR code with the invigilating app and actually interact with it as you're practicing this one. So Give it a shot. See how it works. Do it practically. That's why we're doing this for you guys. There are the exam rules as well. So we also put that in there for you. And just for example's sake, briefly explained, here we've given you a question. We've given you a paper. And so if I click on the paper, what happens is it downloads the paper. Okay, so which means now I can open it and I can see, okay, here's my questions. All right, so pretty much exactly what you're going to do in your exam. Okay, then you can go back. All right, you're going to type up your answers. And then you'll see it's got all the usual information, very similar to your assignment. Okay, so it's not totally new to you. And you can see it says I haven't done anything yet. All right, then I'm going to click on Add Submission. Now, this is very important. You'll notice the page reloads itself, but it comes to the top. So you're going to have to just scroll down again and keep going. And then you'll see it's actually opened like this. Now, there's quite a lot of important information sitting right over here that we must make sure that you're aware of. The first one is tick. This very tick up here in the beginning says, is this your work? Okay, so you need to acknowledge this is your work, nobody else's work. So you do have to tick this little guy right on top. Then it's going to say to us, okay, file or folder, what are you uploading? The first thing I want to know is how much space are you giving me? In this case, it's 50 megabytes and it's only one file that you are allowed to upload. Now, a common question is, and students, you guys ask this quite often, if my file size is too big, what can I do? I've saved it as a PDF and it's still too big. What can I do? There is a website called I Love PDF, and what you can do there is, let me see if I can quickly find it. I Love PDF. It is free. You can access it. It's normally the very first hit. And there is an option about compressing and whatnot as well. So you might just want to consider using this to make it a bit smaller. But I'm sure 50 megabytes is quite big file size, but maybe if you've got images or drawings, it's possible it could be quite big. But I'm sure the file size will be bigger as well. Then what you can do is you're going to upload, in my case, let's say a file. So I'm sure you've seen this before with your written assignments, exactly the same process. So you can choose your file, go see where you've saved your answer. Let me see my desktop. I saved my answer on my desktop. Let's say it's this one over here. Click on open, and then I can upload the file. And that's how it looks over there. Okay. And then, of course, it does tell me as well, what type of file am I expecting? So this is also very important. In other words, so when I look at the screen, it's telling me I need to say this is my work. I need to check the file sizes and how many files can I upload. When I'm uploading, please check what type of file am I expecting. Now, normally it's always PDF. So please make sure you know how to save as a PDF. A quick Google search can help. If you're using Office or Microsoft Word, the latest versions, you just go file, save as PDF. So it's actually very, very easy to do. So make sure you do that and make sure you practice it way before. But most likely you would have done this with assignments. Then you can click on Save Changes. All right, give it a few seconds. Again, the page will always scroll to the top. So it means I'm going to just scroll down, 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 down. And then I can see, yes, submitted for grading. Beautiful. Maybe take a screenshot, some evidence. You can see there's my file. And it hasn't submitted yet because I can still edit the submission. So I can also remove the submission, or I can go and edit it. So if I click on edit, it basically means it takes me back one step, back here, where I can maybe upload the correct file in case I got the wrong file. And that could happen as well. But remember, you've only got it up to the time of the exam. So you can't do it after the exam closes, then it's closed. Okay? Remember those exam rules with regards to the time. So that's why we also do remind you about the exam rules. So the uploading, the downloading, make sure you guys are comfortable doing this and submitting. Okay, so you can still do it while the session is still open, but obviously once it closes, then you won't be able to submit anymore. So in my case, it's still open. All right, so that's basically it, guys. So please, if you do require the Iris or the Invigilating app, use it with this process. Take the screenshots, practice how the whole Iris app works. Remember, guys, with the written exam, you're going to submit it under myExams, your answer, and you're going to take screenshots of your answers for the invigilating app. So it's basically 2 processes that you need to do. So remember that as well. And that's why it's so important to do the demo. I just want to remind you guys, I see a note that came through my phone under the invigilating app. And if you scroll down, they do give you this video. So please go watch the video with regards to the exam demo and see how that works, because that whole process you must practice. And this one you can do as many times as you want to make sure that you're comfortable with the uploading, the taking the pictures, the downloading, the process that you're going to go through. And if you've done this, definitely you're going to be more comfortable before coming to your exam. Let me just quickly check. I think I have covered everything. Yep. Okay. Right. So I was back to you, Dr. Chetty.
Thanks so much, David, for that, especially looking at the mock exams, the required devices. I think that's quite important for our students as they start engaging and start, hopefully by this weekend, they start trying this out for themselves as well, especially our first-year students who are writing for the very first time. Now, we also have the Student Support Contact Center. Unfortunately, we don't have the colleagues with us, but I'm going to ask David to throw up the number on the screen so that you can see the number, take it down, and we will then be able to contact them if you have any challenges. David, would that be possible on your side?
Yes, I'm going to share it now for you guys.
Perfect.
There we go, students. So here's a quick summary. So it's the 0800 number, 00 and 1870. So that's the contact number, guys. Yes, also the email addresses. So what I'll do is I will share this in the chat as well, so that you guys do have access to this. Also note on the myExams platform, there is the option. Let me just quickly, I think I just want to reshare my screen quickly. There is the option as well. You'll notice for myExams, the contact centers details there as well. So if you in the myExam where you can see the date and the exams, there's also the link. You can click on it. And then, of course, all the information will be in here. Now, it's very important when you're contacting the university, please make sure you use your MyLife email account. They also say do include the following important information and screenshots, guys. When you take a screenshot or whatever the problem may be, try to get the date and the time in as well, because that will also provide with the exact time when this error was occurring, okay? So that is very, very important. So they do mention it as well. And then as you can see, there are the manager's email addresses as well, as long as all with the rest of the colleagues in the SCSC. So take note of this. This is very important information sitting over here as part of the slide that I just showed you guys as well. So yes, definitely you must have this handy. Back to you, Dr. Chetty.
Thanks so much, David, for that and for those critical information in terms of contact details for our Student Support Contact Center. Now we're moving to almost the end of the program. It's just 10:02, and I'm going to invite my colleague Pinchas Nguna to talk to us about support for students with special needs. How is UNISA ensuring that the online exams is inclusive and we do not disadvantage any students? Pinchas, welcome. Thank you very much for once again providing this key information to our students to help them transition into these online examinations. Thanks, Pinchas.
Thank you so much, Dr. Chetty. Good afternoon, everyone. As mentioned, my name is Pinchas Nguna. I'm from the Advocacy and Resource Center for Students with Disabilities. The Advocacy and Resource Center for Students with Disabilities is a center within the Department of Student Affairs. Was established 20 years ago to provide for a wide range of needs for students with disabilities. The big question is, did you disclose your disability? While you are trying to answer this question, I'm sure you'll get answers as well from this presentation on why do we ask whether you disclose your disability or not. Students, it is important to remember that students with disabilities are not in any way inferior to students without disabilities. And it's important for students with disabilities to apply for special examination because this is not automatic. It does not mean that because you disclose your disability at the point of registration, then you'll be given special exam arrangements. I'll also show you the form and the reasons why this is not automatic. And in terms of proctoring, students who disclose their disabilities and submitted medical proof or medical certificate confirming the nature of their disabilities and the kind of reasonable accommodation that they need are exempted from proctoring. And the exemption from proctoring is because of a number of challenges that students with disabilities experience them with the technology. Just to give an example, a deaf student cannot hear the beep when they're supposed to take a selfie or to take a picture of their script. A blind student cannot take a selfie when required because the student is blind. These are just a few examples that I'm giving you. Then students with disabilities are able to apply for alternative assessments in cases whereby the prescribed assessment does not accommodate your disability. Then to apply for this, we'll have to complete this special exam arrangement form. And as my colleague earlier mentioned, that it is important to use the My Life email address. The confirmation for special exam arrangements is only sent to your My Life email address. If you don't access your My Life email address, you won't have this information. Then students, I'll quickly project the form so that you can at least understand what you talk about if you say application for special examination arrangements. This form is very important. Please do complete this form. If you can see now on the form, is the required information there. This form has the most important part of this form. Let me quickly go to it. It's page 2. This page 2, here it asks you to provide more information on the arrangements that are required. If you take extra time, please elaborate or give the amount of time that is needed. The reason for this is that 2 students may present the same disability only to find that their needs are different because of the severity of the disability. Or you may find that one of the students was born with a disability and the other one acquired the disability recently. Therefore, the extra time will differ. Please ensure that you provide this information, because if you don't provide this information, you may end up getting 10 minutes per hour, of which it may not be sufficient for you. And again, there's a part down here where it should be completed by your physician or your doctor. We need a brief motivation on the kind of the arrangements. The reason for this is to ensure that you are assisted fully. Because if you don't get the explanation, we may not provide the required support. Like for instance, you may have 2 students with paraplegia. But those 2 students, you may find that one of the students has a deeper need than the other student. It is therefore important that you provide us with this information. And this form should be stamped by your doctor. The reason for this is to ensure that we have students who deserve this support. In the past, we had students without disabilities who approached the university and said, then I require special accommodation as a student with a disability, only to find that when we check, the student does not meet the requirements because they don't have a disability. Please, students, make use of this service. We also encourage you not to conceal or withhold your disabilities. While we respect your rights to disclose or not to disclose, please remember that students who does not disclose their disabilities may not receive or even demand reasonable accommodation from the university. because the university won't be aware of your individual needs, as we don't apply the one-size-fits-all approach. Whether your disability is visible or invisible, please disclose your disability to receive the required support. And for students who acquire their disabilities during their studies, are encouraged to disclose their disabilities. Ladies and gentlemen, I must say that anyone can acquire a disability. It is therefore important for us to treat our fellow students with respect and dignity that they richly deserve. We are also aware of students who are reluctant to disclose their disabilities due to the fear of stigma and victimization, especially those who are new in the world of disabilities. As students, I must emphasize that when you disclose your disabilities, the university will provide reasonable accommodation. No one will stigmatize or even victimize you. You'll get the best service. Ladies and gentlemen, now that you understand why you should disclose your disability and the support provided to students with disabilities during exams, it remains your responsibility to request or to use the service in order to make your studies and exams seamless. Then, ladies and gentlemen, the answer to my question, why do you have to disclose your disability, is in order to receive this kind of service. And please provide the medical documentation proof in order to receive this kind of support. We are here for you. If you like to contact us, you can send us an email to acsuite@unisa.ac.za. And then with these few slides, I'd like to wish you all the best with your exams. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that, Pintius, and for giving our students the opportunity to see what provisions are made by UNISA specifically for our students with special needs, so that we ensure that they also have a bit of a easier way to navigate the platforms and also the examination process. Now, since we've now come towards the end of our 2-hour session, with just 2 minutes left, but I'm going to ask my colleagues quickly, Jessica Nell and Salosh Govender, if there were anything that is common or dominated our chat that on both platforms that we should raise. Let me start with Jessica. Thanks, Jessica.
Thank you, Denzel. Yes, I'm in both platforms at the moment, both of our Teams and our live YouTube stream. And there are many, many questions surrounding the invigilator, IRIS. What is very, very important and what has been coming up is the fears, the worries about what's the actual process, especially when it comes to submitting. So I just want to reiterate that what's going to happen at the end of writing time is your Invigilator app is going to prompt you to begin the submission process, to upload all of your pictures, your evidence of academic integrity. When you do that, when it does that, it has a built-in scanner, which will ask you to take pictures of your screen or your handwritten paper. And it's going to convert those pictures into a PDF for you that you can email to yourself for upload into the myExams platform. So there's no need to go out of the Invigilator. It has that capability for scanning already in place. But if for whatever reason you are experiencing problems with the Invigilator, I always advocate to get that PDF of your exam answer script up onto the myExams platform as soon as possible. That must take priority. I'll hand over to my other colleague.
Good afternoon, students. One of the common concerns is load shedding or power failure issues. And we are aware that this is an issue that's facing all students because you actually cannot foresee what can happen. But what we want to say to you is that personal network or service provider issues and load shedding or electricity issues are totally outside of UNISA's control. We strongly urge you to, look at your load shedding schedules and make arrangements well in advance so that you are able to take your exams successfully. And students, if you find that you are experiencing any network or load shedding issues that you cannot resolve or cannot help, then we suggest that you apply for an aggregatant, and you need to submit supporting evidence within 3 days of the examination session. And your supporting evidence would be maybe a letter from your community councillor or even the official load shedding schedule, right? That can work as evidence. With regard to your take-home exams, right? You also need to know that your take-home exams only require you to have connectivity for downloading and uploading the exam paper. So please make sure that you have enough data on your phone as a backup. You can either use it as a hotspot for your laptop, which should, which should be charged fully before any exams, right? So please make sure that you prepare in advance. There was another query about, many other queries about whether you can handwrite the answers. Yes, colleagues or students, you may handwrite your answers. Essays and portfolios can be handwritten or typed. However, if it's handwritten, you need to ensure that the writing is legible and it's clear, and that you can scan the pages in order and upload as one document and not as individual pages. So if you are scanning your handwritten answer script, you can use Microsoft Office Lens app to scan your paper and make sure that the pages are in order. And remember that you upload as one PDF document, not separate pages. Right. But remember that your MCQ, you cannot handwrite your MCQs, because your MCQs, it must be completed direct on the online platform. Denzel, I think for now, that's it from my side.
Thanks so much, Salosh and Jessica, for that. I think you'll actually picked up quite a few of the dominant questions. I'm looking at the chat now as well. With that said and done, we would like to wish all our students a best of luck for the upcoming examination. If you haven't started as yet, for those that are already in the process of the examination, please do take note of all the guidelines and tips that we've provided for you. And I see Richard Wright has also posted up on the chat. Please complete the post assessment. We'd like to know what you felt about today's session, but more specifically, how we can help you to close some of the gaps in the training as well. I want to thank my colleagues who have really taken the time today to be with us. Lazarus, Salosh, David, our sign language interpreter, Ms. Sophie Mabasa, and my co-coordinator, co-director for today. Also our marketing specialist, Oba King, Jessica Pintius, and Jury from the Invigilator app. Thank you very much. And we also have none other than our colleague, Richard Wright, who has been working in the background and streaming to both to the YouTube channel as well. Thank you, colleagues, for taking this Saturday and joining us and also providing the support to our students. We appreciate that. And for all our students, thank you for taking the 2 hours off your time, family time, study time, to get these skills that you need. We wish you well. All the best, and please remember that if there is anything that you really are uncertain about, please go to that course site on basic skills in myExams that we've created for you. Really has every single thing that you need. We've worked through this over the past 2 years. We've taken all that information. We've developed this training course specifically based on student experience. So whatever you need is on that site. So please do go to the site, and we wish you all the best, and we hope that you enjoy the rest of your Saturday and the rest of your weekend. Take care and God bless. Thanks, colleagues.